Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. Did you enjoy the crazy gladiatress build that we saw against Carthage? Well, here is a somewhat similar version of it. There's going to be a line of gladiatresses for Rome, leading some Hastati. So I guess the Hastati and the gladiatresses teaming up for an epic effect here. And then there is Praetorian Cavalry. Once again, interesting pick. Praetorian Cavalry is just, I mean, if we take a look, the armor is really heavy. It's really not... I mean, that's pretty solid armor. Pretty high melee attack as well, at 49, and then the weapon strength isn't bad at 29. That's a pretty powerful spear, and the 15 bonus versus large. But, I mean, just the charge bonus there is, at 42 is still pretty solid, so they could be used as a makeshift melee cavalry. Or I say makeshift melee. They are a melee cavalry, but an anti-infantry one is what I really mean there. There's some Vigiles in the back, and then it looks like we have some auxiliary Numidian cavalry, giving a little bit of skirmish cover. But Rome is going to need to rush into battle here against the enemy here. So the Saba army over here, the Sabaean army, they've got camel cataphracts. That's going to be a painfully dangerous unit there. A heavy lancer, and then it looks like more camel cataphracts. So I see 3 camel cataphracts in total. A Marib camel cataphract general. So that is 4 camel cataphract units and a armored camel spear, as well as those lancers. So very heavy cavalry contingent here for Saba. Mercenary Mosquet Marauders. Now, Mosquet Marauders are not going to like being charged by something like Praetorian Cavalry, but if they could get into them afterwards, they will rip up that armor pretty effectively. Praetorian Cavalry won't win the charge against these super heavy shot cav, but they will certainly do very well after the charge if they can stick in there. Look at the gladiatresses here, got crushed by a camel charge. Gladiatress units are loosely formed and don't have much mass, and so they will take brutal damage. But once they get that killing spree activate killing spree. Once they do that, they're going to start going off pretty well. And then over here you can see the Vigiles trying to hold these Mosquet Marauders while the Hastati come in. Now, Hastati Gladiatress is both very susceptible to cavalry charges, so that is definitely a risk with this army. There's several Hastati in reserve here, as well as the Legatus and some Gladiatresses. This Praetorian Cavalry already taking heavy damage here. Like I said, those Mosquet Marauders, they'll actually tear apart some of the armor on those Praetorian Cavalry. They won't like being charged by it, but they can certainly help clean it up if they come into that fight afterwards. So let's see how Rome handles this. So far, some pretty brutal charges coming in from Saba, and there's a lot of cavalry still that Rome would have to clean up for Saba, but we're starting to get reinforcements. Rome's trying to turn on that grind-out fight that they excel at, and we'll see whether they're able to do so successfully. There's still 1 Praetorian cavalry full in reserve. This one's still in pretty solid shape here, too, going against the Marib camel cataphract general. And some of the gladiatresses took some heavy damage early, but they also dealt some damage in that fight, some of them more so than others. And Rome may be able to just outweigh Saba with just sheer numbers here. That Praetorian Cavalry is going to extricate itself. Huge charge bonus coming in here. The gladiatresses are going to crush into these Mosquet Marauders. They have decent armor, but those gladiatresses are going to be coming in with some just walloping weapon strength. Look at that. 40-something kills just almost immediately. There's some slingers in the back for Saba, and here comes the flank push. Looks like we've got a camel cataphract, a heavy lancer, and an armored camel coming in, and the Praetorian Cavalry is trying to avoid that charge, but it doesn't have a whole lot of places to go. It's going to end up getting caught here and just have to take it, but here comes the reinforcements. So Rome kind of counter-ambushing there to the best of their ability. But look at that, the slinger fire coming in from Saba, just shredding those Roman troops in the middle of that fight. This is a brutal fight right now, and both factions are dealing each other some really tough hits here. This Praetorian Cavalry is in a pretty good place against that Marib camel cataphract. These gladiatresses broke through and can try and support the cavalry fights. Look at this, the camel cataphract giving those Praetorians a charge there. Roman general trying to hold his troops in this fight. The heavy lancers and armored camel spearmen holding out. This Praetorian Cavalry now has the presence, which is going to improve recharge, and then we've got loyalty, which is increasing defense and making the unit temporarily unbreakable. Interesting. The infantry assault by Rome kind of grinding down. There's not a ton of gladiatresses left. There's a few units of them left here and there. This one's got 123 kills and counting. And it looks like that camel cataphract gonna swing around here and hit the gladiatresses in the back while they were fighting. Very well done by Saba. This is gonna be a tough finish for Rome. I just don't know if they can get it done. They've still got to deal with all these slingers, and they are running out of cavalry in a big hurry. And honestly, their infantry is not cutting through the Mosquet Marauders at the rate it really needs to in order to finish up this fight. Those Marauders are really pretty decent units. I don't remember their cost-wise. Look at this over here, though. Rome did manage to clean some of this up because some of those cataphracts had to go elsewhere, and now Rome's got a cavalry push that could potentially get to those slingers. If they clean up those slingers, this could become a different game. These Praetorian cavalry, just very impressive presence here. They have been in a heavyweight fight this entire time, and these backstabbing political guards are doing their very best to keep themselves alive so they can crown the new emperor later. So they're really working on it. Let's see if Rome's cavalry push here comes to any effect. Their legatus coming in, helping to clean up a mercenary Mosquet Marauder. Then over here, that camel cataphract being pursued. There's Vigiles coming back, and these gladiatresses up to 104 kills. This Stadi now free to go after more Mosquet Marauders along with another. So let's see what's going to happen. The Praetorian cavalry over here is going down to some slinger fire and the continued relentless assault of the camel cataphracts. So, again, in my opinion, though, impressive performance by the Praetorian cavalry there. They were up against some very heavy cavalry. Not an easy fight to win. It still says that the balance is in favor of Saba, and I can see why. I don't know if Rome can finish this one or not. If that legatus, though, can take these slingers out of the fight, that could be a big deal here. I don't know how Rome's going to deal with these slingers and then the remaining cataphracts and still have enough troops left. The last battle I recorded, I was quite wrong in what the outcome would be like, so I'm hesitant to guess here. Ooh, those slingers are feeding it to the legatus. That is not good for Rome. And it looks like Rome may be on its last legs here. Very aggressive, very different type of army build from Rome. And it is going to create a rather close fight here, but a fight that I do believe Saba is going to carry. And it was an interesting one. Rome just didn't get quite enough punch there through the infantry line to get to the Sabaean slingers. If they got to the slingers, I actually think Rome probably takes this one. They didn't quite get to the slingers. So an interesting finish here. So Saba's initial charges, it looks like, with the cataphracts into the gladiatresses and stuff really paid off. They did end up going head-to-head with this Praetorian cavalry, and it was a kind of a tough slog. But then ultimately, that put the Mosquet Marauders, 3 of them, in very good shape. Well, it looks like 4, actually, ended up in very good shape. The Roman infantry-wise, it looks like 2 of the gladiatresses got some very significant kills. A couple of the Hastati performed okay. And then we had a pretty good performance out of a couple of Praetorian cavalry here. You can see them chevroning with only 50-some-odd kills, maybe 60. So an all-aggressive Roman army here, not quite enough to punch through Saba. So Saba does hold on there and pull out the victory. So good game to Ladtus and good game to Hotel Soap. Appreciate him submitting these. He's absolutely fantastic. If you are enjoying these Rome 2 replays, make sure you get down in the comments and tell him thank you for sending these replays. He is a huge part of keeping this Rome 2 content on my channel, so I wanted to make sure and say thank you. So again, if you enjoy it, get down there and thank Hotel Soap and Ladtus here for the battles. I know I enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage is signing out for now. I'll see you all soon with some more content and Total War Rome 2.